In this video, we're going to be adding two fractions together. So we have 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. Now, in order to add fractions together, we need to make sure they have the same denominator. The denominator is this number here, the number in the bottom of the fraction. So we can see just by looking, we have two different denominators. We have a 2 and a 3. So we cannot add our fractions as is. We're going to need to manipulate or change our fractions so that we can add them together. Now, there's a few different ways to do this, but one of the easiest, quickest ways I find is to simply take the denominator of the other fraction and multiply the numerator and denominator of your first fraction or your opposite fraction, and then simplify. And we do this to both fractions. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So here we go. We'll just copy this down. We have 1 over 2 and extend that. So we're going to look at our other denominator. We have a 3. So if we multiply our numerator by 3 and our denominator by 3, and that's for our first fraction. Now we're going to do something similar with our second fraction. We're going to rewrite it. So we have 1 over 3. Then we're going to multiply our numerator and denominator by the denominator of the other fraction. So in this case, it would be the 2. So we'll have 1 times 2 and 3 times 2. Now, we're going to know that we did this correctly if our denominator for both of our fractions, once we simplify, is the same number, okay? Now, you may have heard of lowest common denominator. That's not what we were finding here, okay? We were just finding a common denominator, okay? Because this might not be the lowest common denominator, what it means is when we get our answer, we may still need to simplify a bit further, okay? So let's go ahead and simplify what we have right now. 1 times 3 is just 3. 2 times 3 is 6. We're going to add that to 1 times 2 is 2. And that's over 3 times 2, which is 6. So now when I look, I can see that both of my terms have a 6 in the denominator, okay? That means we did it correctly. And now we can go ahead and add. Now it's really important to note that when we're adding fractions, all we do is add the numerators. That's the numbers on the top. We leave the denominator alone, okay? So the denominator we have now is 6. We can just rewrite it as is. We don't change it. And now all we're going to do is add our numerators. So 3 plus 2 is 5. And when I look at this, I cannot simplify this answer any further, which means our answer is simply 5 over 6. If you would like to learn how to quickly study for your GED exam online and get a new resume, then visit testprepskills.com.